Welcome back, and thanks for joining us on this week's edition of The Outlier. I'm Sam Kukulis.
And I'm Mike Smith. The 86th Academy Awards were on Sunday. Ellen.
Your favorite, amazing.
Hire me, please.
Still a little bitter about Leo, but take us. Let's get into it.
Again, they left us with some very memorable moments, like the very lucky pizza delivery boy, a very mispronounced name, and a record-setting selfie. Bradley Cooper took this Welfie, a selfie with multiple people, like we. It's a thing. It surpassed all other tweets with 1.8 million favorites and a whopping 3.2 million retweets. When the president won re-election, he didn't even make it to 800,000 retweets. Samsung actually donated $3 million between two of Ellen's favorite charities. There's talk of Samsung putting on the stunt. If you look closely, you can see that it's actually a Samsung Note that Bradley is taking with the shot. They were a commercial sponsor and spent millions of dollars in advertisements during the show.
A giant asteroid is hurling itself towards the Earth, and it will be a close call, but how close? NASA says the asteroid will be closer to us than the moon. That will happen around 4 p.m. Eastern this afternoon, which looks like it already passed. So you're very lucky, and as NASA said, don't panic. It's not too much to worry about. Scientists estimate the asteroid is about 100 feet across, but it's unlikely it will ever be visible from Earth.
There's still a lot happening in the Ukraine, and with a check of the latest, we turn to Kelsey Tardillo.
Thanks, Mike. In light of the continuing conflict in Eastern Europe, we're going to do something different today at Outlier International. I'll be catching you up on the Ukrainian crisis from start to finish. But this story didn't just start last November. Historical events such as the Crimean War, the Russian Revolution, the Soviet-manufactured famine of 1932 and 1933, and culture and ethnic differences in Ukrainian national identity have been leading up to the conflict we see today. For more on the historical context of this current crisis, check out the Outlier ASU on Twitter and Facebook. To outline what's going on now, let's rewind to November 21st, 2013. President Viktor Yanukovych, who came to power in Russian-influenced eastern Ukraine, backed out of a trade deal with the European Union. This deal was a year in the making, highly supported by the pro-European western Ukraine, but pressure from Russia caused Yanukovych to change his mind. Protesters assembled in Kiev to show their displeasure with the president's decision. On January 16th, Yanukovych created laws restricting the right to protest, but that didn't stop demonstrators. The anti-protest law was then repealed on the 28th of that month. In late February, protests got even more violent. Yanukovych agreed to reduced powers and ultimately left Kiev, claiming a coup as parliament relieved him of the presidency. Yanukovych's supporter and Russian President Vladimir Putin says despite the deposition, Yanukovych is still the true executive power of Ukraine.
As to the whether this current authorities are legitimate, the parliament partly yes, but the rest of them are not.
Ukrainian parliament ended February by naming Oleksandr Turchinov as interim president. It also worked on installing an interim government until elections are held in May, but the fledgling government might not get that far. Russian officials ordered surprise military exercises on the Ukrainian border, and armed gangs seized government buildings and airports in the Ukraine's semi-autonomous region of Crimea. Crimea's current leader is pro-Russian. On Saturday, Russian parliament approved Putin's request to use military force in the Ukraine. Russian military have issued several ultimatums for Ukrainian forces to surrender, and many believe Putin wants to annex Crimea, but the Russian president says otherwise.
If we do this, it will only be to protect local people and let them only dare shoot women and children.
Outlier International will be following the situation as it develops. Stay with us for the latest. And that's what's going on in the Ukraine. Back to you.
With more on Ukraine by the numbers, here's Nick Wixman.
Thanks, Sam. Well, this week has been dominated by one topic, Russia. And as happy as I'm sure Russia is about that, I'm here to break down the crisis by the numbers for you. Let's start off with the basics. One vetoed economic treaty between Ukraine and the European Union in November led thousands of Ukrainian students to protest the government. Over 100 dead and thousands of injured protesters in mid-February led to pressure from many Ukrainians, which in turn forced President Viktor Yanukovych to flee. That's the background. Here's what you need to know right now. 145,000 Russian soldiers participated in unannounced military maneuvers in western Russia, prompting warnings from many countries. 6,000. Wait. 16,000? Wait. Which one is it? It's funny how in a day and age where the government can track 300 million Americans on a daily basis, they can't even get accurate soldier count when one country invades another. Well, whether it be 6,000 or 16,000 Russian soldiers, those Russian soldiers have effectively taken operational control of Crimea. And when news broke of possible economic sanctions against Russia, their stock markets plummeted 13%. And in the U.S., we saw as much as a 3% drop in the stock market. For now, we're only on the brink of a second Cold War, but myself and the staff at Outlier will keep an eye on this ever-changing crisis. For updates, follow @TheOutlierASU on Twitter. That'll wrap it up for the amazing world of politics. I'm Nick Wixman. Let's send it back to the beautiful talking heads at the desk.
Thanks for helping break that down, Nick. Well, it was dangerous to walk around Little Rock, Arkansas this week. Ice sheets were falling off buildings. You can see this photographer. Oh, he gets hit in the head with a chunk of ice falling. Really kind of scary stuff. The KTHV reporter was hit in the head but was able to walk away without injury. Look at it go. Whoa. Oh, boy, that's some crazy video. And there's more snowy news accidents, this time out of Woodstown, New Jersey. A reporter was trying to do a stand-up like they all do, and he was along the side of the road when suddenly snowplows start coming to plow the snow. And now the reporter, Steve Keeley, was fine and then he seemed to recover pretty decently, though. I think it's going to play again. Here, ready? Slow-mo, slow-mo, slow-mo. Ready? Attack! Blah. I love that so much. I feel bad for the guy, but he was okay.
It just looks so miserable.
I kind of want that to happen to me.
In other news, Target is revamping its leadership in wake of a data breach that impacted millions of customers this last winter. The company is replacing its chief information officer and will hire 2 new top positions that will aid in making sure the company's security practices are top-notch. Lucky for you, if you work for Target, all 3 positions will be filled by internal hires. The increase in security is being put in place to help prevent another security breach. Hackers tapped into an online portal for vendors and stole the information of 110 million Target customers.
Good luck breaking into my $8 balance bank account, hackers. File this next one into Give Me a Break along with I Can't Stand People. A New Jersey teen is taking things to a new level. She's suing her parents for immediate financial assistance. Rachel Canning, seen right there, says she cannot support herself after her parents forced her out of their home. Canning is asking the judge for tuition for her private high school as well as living expenses. She also wants her parents to continue to pay for her college. A judge has denied the motion. In case you're wondering, the parents say they kicked her out of the house because she didn't want to follow their own rules.
With a look of the latest headlines, Nicole Stein joins us with this week's PDQ.
Thanks, Sam. A controversial bill in Arizona stirred the nation this past week, but the chaos has subsided. SB 1062 would have allowed business owners to assert their religious beliefs and give them the right to deny gay and lesbian customers. Governor Jan Brewer was under serious pressure from the public to make a decision. She came under the wire but ultimately vetoed the bill. 8-year-old Caden Typalis is making headlines recently for his efforts to help fellow students at his school. Caden got upset that his friend could not get a hot lunch at school because he had an overdue balance. Caden took it upon himself to start collecting money for those children at school not able to afford hot lunches. The murder trial of Olympian double amputee Oscar Pistorius continues. During today's trial, his defense attorney tried to poke holes in the first witness's statement. Pistorius' neighbor, Michelle Berger, claimed she was awakened by screams followed by gunshots the night Pistorius shot and killed his girlfriend on Valentine's Day last year. A military judge denied a defense motion to dismiss charges against Brigadier General Jeffrey Sinclair on Tuesday. Sinclair is facing life in prison for sexual assault charges brought against him and is believed to be the most senior member of the U.S. Army to face trial for sexual assault. I'm Nicole Stein. That's it for the PDQ. Back to you.
Avocado. Oh no! Chipotle Mexican Grill says it may have to temporarily suspend the sale of salsa and guacamole. In its annual report, the Mexican chain listed drought and changes in global weather patterns as risk factors to its business. What does this mean? Basically, climate changes may drive the prices of some ingredients through the roof, mainly avocados. Chipotle says it uses 97,000 pounds of avocados a day. Thankfully, the restaurant promises customers won't have to deal with guacamole withdrawals anytime soon, so we're safe for now. A spokesman for the company says the report is nothing more than a routine risk factor disclosure.
A strange move by some Indianapolis schools. They're starting a program to start putting advertisements on school buses. It's all part of a plan to raise money for cash-strapped districts. The state Senate approved the measure, and it is now on to the House. If approved, it will go to the governor's desk.
Our hands is kind of tied here as far as what we can do. So any little bit that we can manufacture money for the transportation department, I think it's going to help.
Think this is a good way to make money, or is it just a way to exploit children to make a quick buck? Let us know your thoughts. Tweet us at the Outlier ASU.
New Orleans police are investigating 2 separate shootings that happened in the same area on Mardi Gras night. Officers say 2 men were shot and killed in a parking lot near Mardi Gras World. One was found inside a car, the other lying on the ground. The shooting took place about an hour after another man was shot in the shoulder while attending a concert nearby. He was taken to the hospital. Police have not named any suspects and say the 2 cases are still under investigation.
With a look at the world of sports, here is Patrick Wagner. Greetings, Patrick.
Hello, Michael. Bruce Wayne donned a mask and became the Dark Knight. This weekend, LeBron James donned a mask and became Super LeBron? That's a frightening concept. Since putting on the mask, the Miami Heat forward has not lost a single step, including his Monday night career-high 61-point outburst against the Charlotte Bobcats, putting him on an MVP collision with Oklahoma City forward Kevin Durant. Durant has recently been on a tear, averaging 35 points a game over his last 5 games, which is still more than LeBron's 33.5 and includes his 61-point marvel. Speaking of Marvel, this picture came across my Twitter feed the other day. Marvel artist Greg Land rendered LeBron with a Captain America-esque mask. Land might know something we don't, but as far as I know, LeBron won't be starring along Robert Downey Jr. anytime soon. Now on to hockey. With teams gearing up for the playoffs, there have already been big moves, including 2 big-name goalies. Roberto Luongo has been traded to the Florida Panthers from the Vancouver Canucks, and Ryan Miller was sent to Buffalo to join the St. Louis Blues. This last month is expected to be a sprint to the finish, especially with teams at the top of the Western Conference. Currently, there are 4 clubs all within striking distance of the conference, leading Anaheim Ducks. St. Louis, Chicago, Colorado, and San Jose are all still vying for home ice throughout the conference. The reason? No team has lost more than 8 games at home, and last year's Stanley Cup champion Chicago Blackhawks took full advantage of home ice, riding it all the way to the championship. Now, I expect Anaheim to hang on, but if I were the Ducks, I would not sleep on any of these teams. That's just a little bit of what's going on into sports. Back to you.
Katy Perry takes the world by storm, literally. The pop superstar tried her hand at forecasting on 7 Network, Australia's morning show. The pronunciations of some cities tripped her up.
25 with a shower or 2 and a possible storm for Canberra. Canberra.
Perry told viewers if they didn't understand her forecast, they could simply get it on their phone. Perry is in Australia to promote her upcoming world tour.
My mother's calling me. Hi, Mom. We're doing a show.
Hi, Mom.
Can I call you back? Outlier. Okay. All right.
I got it.
All right. Love you too. Bye. Well, the Smithsonian National Zoo in D.C. welcomed 4 new 4-legged bundles of soon-to-be wild man-eating carnivores. Here's a video of the baby cam showing off the new lion cubs. That's 9-year-old Shira, maybe Shura, and that's her 2nd litter. The zoo says they're one step closer to building their pride, which kind of sounds gross. If all goes well, the babies should be able to greet the public sometime this summer.
All right, Mike, I'm starving, and after that whole Chipotle thing, I really want guacamole.
Hold everything. Discovery from the internet. I had about 4 of these in 3 days.
I saw you eat about 2 of them, and you weren't feeling great, so that's a feat.
No, it's like I needed
They're
it.
still in there.
quesarito.
They're incredible looking.
Basically.
Still haven't tried it.
Oh, we're going. We have 55 minutes to get down to there. They make a quesadilla, and then they open it up and just shove all your burrito fixings in, and then they just bundle up as usual.
So if you wanted diabetes, here's how you do it.
Yeah, it's just an extra 8 ounces of cheese. I don't believe that. That's half a pound of cheese.
So that's where they're losing their money, not the guacamole.
Yeah, the guy was like, it messes up our inventory. And I'm like, I don't care, give it to me. So
Mike and I are gonna have to go check out Chipotle for something to eat.
Nothing. I was gonna say something and then I was gonna get in trouble. I wanted free burritos.
Oh.
Don't. Okay. I am Mike Smith.
And I'm Sam Kukulis. Why be normal when you could be an outlier?